Hi everyone, I thought I would do a video highlighting that January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and I'm wanting to start a new series highlighting different causes and just providing some information on, ideas on things to, be passionate about and, ways to give back. So, yes, today I'm going to be talking about human trafficking. I'm just going to give some very brief facts, and I will link a lot more information down below in the description box just because there are lots of really good YouTube videos out there, movies, books, lots of other information that you can really dig into if you want to get in deep to the subject. And I'll also talk about some ideas on what you can do about it. So first of all, human trafficking is, the United Nations has a really long definition of it, but basically what it is the holding or transporting of a person by force, fraud, or coercion, and then the trafficker is profiting somehow from this. There are many different types of human trafficking, such as sex trafficking or forced prostitution, commercial sexual exploitation, bonded labor, forced labor, begging rings, organ trafficking, and forced marriage, which is different than arranged marriage, and also child soldiers. Anyone can be a victim of human trafficking, male, female, child, adult, any age, anywhere in this world. It happens everywhere. It happens here in the United States. It happens everywhere, sadly. Some examples of countries that people are trafficked from are like Africa and the former Soviet Union. But again, it can happen anywhere. It is the #1 fastest growing crime in the world. It's very profitable. They estimate that it's a $32 billion a year industry. Now, of course, all of these statistics are very rough estimates because we don't know every single, basement brothel that exists or someone who's forced into servitude, so on and so forth. It's estimated at $32 billion, and that is more than Nike, Google, and Starbucks combined make. A lot of the time, different types of human trafficking and victimization go together. For example, someone might be, in bonded labor or servitude, doing manual labor, and then there's also sex trafficking going on at the same time. Part of the reason that it's growing so much and the reason that it's so profitable is if you compare it to drugs, like drugs and arms are also very big criminal enterprises, obviously. But if you look at drugs, you can sell a drug and a person uses it, they consume it, and then it's gone. So it's a one-time deal, you make money off at once. However, if you're selling a person, that person can be sold over and over and over again, abused, used over and over and over again, and continually bring in income. It's disgusting, it's terrible. There are many root causes to it. Poverty, lack of education, disease, broken families, children who have been orphaned, corruption in the political system or in the police force, very warped ideas about sex, about gender roles. And I also think there's a spiritual aspect to it as well. Many, many, many factors go into human trafficking. So they estimate that there's, 20-some million slaves in the world today, and that can be so overwhelming. We can look at these huge numbers, 20 million people and, all these billions of dollars, and just be so overwhelmed with it that we can it's easy to just throw up your hands and say, oh my gosh, this problem is so huge, there's nothing I can do about it, and just sort of fall into despair. But the good news is there are things that you can do. You can, first of all, you can tackle one of the root causes that go into human trafficking. And again, I have provided you with such minimal, brief information. There are so many good resources like Not for Sale, Disposable People, The Road of Lost Innocence. I'll link all these and more down below. But so anything that you can do to get at one of the root causes is great. If you think about it, sometimes we get really fired up and we learn about what's going on. We say, oh yeah, let's go storm a brothel. Well, we want to make sure that we're being safe. And even if that happens, which there are people who are trained and actually do that, but even if you do that, it's sort of just like cutting off a diseased, sick tree at the trunk, you know, or like a tomato plant or something, only a diseased tomato plant. You can cut off the tomato, the part with all the tomatoes on it, but unless you pull out the root, it can still grow back. So yes, attack one of those, just one of those issues, like, you know, issues with the needs of children, with, you know, the issue of lack of education, you know, warped ideas about sex and healthy sexuality, things like that. Just take one of those and let that be something that you are working on. Put your time, energy, and talents into that. You can tell people about it. You can wear shirts like this. I don't know if it's like how much is showing up, but shirts like this that say "Stop Human Trafficking" or something that's, you know, says something about human trafficking, and it's a conversation piece, really. And you can just talk to people about it. You can have people over at your house and you can view different movies, like informational movies and documentaries about human trafficking and modern day slavery. We did a viewing at our church on Call and Response. This is like what the cover of it looks like. And then afterwards we did like this Q&A, and it was really, really wonderful, really impactful. Or you can have like jewelry parties. Well, first of all, you can, yes, I'm getting like so ahead of myself. You can have a jewelry party where you are selling items like this that are made by survivors of trafficking. And when you purchase this, not only are you telling people about it, but you're also being a wise, smart consumer, and the money goes back to support these people, these survivors. And so that kind of leads me to my next suggestion of what you can do, which is be a wise consumer. Do some research as far as like the companies that you're buying from, like clothes, personal care products, whatever. Do some research into whether or not they have signed a pledge to not use slave labor. And one website, I'll link it below, that you can go to is, I believe it's chainstorereaction.com, or maybe I'll even put it across the screen. And they'll tell you companies, all kinds of companies, food, clothes, personal care products, all kinds. They'll list companies that have signed these pledges, these pacts to avoid using slave labor. And it will also show you who has not. And you can also, they also will provide a form letter that you can kind of sign your name to and send to different companies, really urging them to sign this and take this issue on. You can obviously donate money to organizations that are doing something about this, like International Justice Mission. I love them, Polaris Project, and many, many, many others. And also just keeping your eye out and be aware. The more you become educated on human trafficking, the more you're able to pick out some of the signs of it. And so what you can do is call this number if you live in the US anyway, and you can report any suspicious activity, and you can do it anonymously. For example, if there is, you know, in your neighborhood, somebody who has a young girl living in the home and they never go to school, they never leave the house or the yard of the home, and they don't go to school. That's very strange, obviously. Anyway, there are so many other things you can do, but I just wanted to keep this video short and sweet, and provide some links for more information, just to get you thinking about it, and also to get people hopefully mobilized, even if you just take one step in the right direction. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Take care of yourself, be good to one another, and if there are any other causes that you think are really important to you and you'd like me to highlight in a video, just leave it in the comment below. Thanks!